Dear friends and family and faculty, welcome to this much awaited, very special occasion, the celebration of these beautiful eighth graders as they close their grade school career and begin the next great adventure of high school. For many of us here, this is a bittersweet moment as we mark the end of one chapter in the lives of someone we love very much. For the eighth graders, it is, in truth, a significant moment because it is the dissolving of a closely knit group as they release one another to something new. It is that, and it is so joyful. And I know I speak for all of us here when I say that we who are watching are filled with so much excitement for the beginnings that start this afternoon, tonight. I want to start by acknowledging that the eighth graders know that they did not get to this place alone. They have been shaped by so many people, by friends and classmates, by each other, by older students, by coaches and mentors, and they've been supported by extended family who love and encourage them each step of the way. Most of all, dear parents, I want to acknowledge you who have given them the very foundation on which they stand. Thank you. Thank you for being here for them, for always showing up no matter what the mood of the moment was. For always seeing them in their best light. And your love and support and sacrifice are the things that let them launch themselves into the world. And that force is so powerful that it will carry them to places we ourselves could never go. The brief time we have here together this afternoon is meant to be a sharing. So what is spoken from this stage represents the love and hope and memories that each of us carry. And together we are going to do something in an hour. We are going to create a picture of this special class and all the ways that they have grown. And we are going to honor it and release it. And we are all part of this celebration. And as the start of that, I have a few words to say to this group. Dear class, I began this journey with some of you 6 years ago. 6 years, 6 or 7 hours in a day. It's a lot of time together to live a life. And I knew when I took you that there would be many joys along the way. But I think I can safely say that the thing I never expected is that so many new wonderful people would come and join us by 2s and 3s and sometimes 4. And maybe the greatest gift of all is that most of you stayed. And so here we are, beginning with 13 when I took this class and ending with 23. And it was with that group that we took up the transformative and challenging and joyful work of 8th grade. And what a class you have been, dear students. You are so big, not to say sarcastic, incredibly energetic and thoughtful and playful and creative. And you are all incredible problem solvers. And you are fiercely loyal. Your ability to get things done and to care for each other while you do it, those two things never cease to amaze me. As I started thinking about the class trip for this group last year and then over the summer, I thought about how I wanted to knit together people who had been together for 12 years and people who had joined us for 1 year. I knew immediately that I wanted to spend our time together at an island. We certainly had plenty of fun in the sand and surf of Martha's Vineyard, but what I really hoped for is the way an island sets us a little apart. The experience of being both separated and connected by water is a powerful one for a group. It makes it easier to let go of the little things that don't really matter and focus on the things that really do matter. Things like cooking together and playing together and being on the land together and swimming in the water together. I want to acknowledge that on this trip, you are respectful beyond all of my hopes to every community that we encountered. The Wampanoag community in Quina, the Island Black community to the African American Heritage Trail and the wonderful Dustins that guided us through it. And even the unexpected, delightful community of elders and bicyclists that we encountered at the hostel. All of them loved you. And each helped us to see our own community in new ways, to return to it a little bit shaped with more understanding of the world around us. And that, eighth grade, is what I hope for you all, that you will bring your steadfast love and your insatiable curiosity into the world, and that you will trust that you have something important to give every community that you enter. Students, thank you so much for accepting me as your teacher, however long that I had with you. Tonight, I gladly release you to your next teachers and to the lifelong self-education that I know each of you will undertake. I do this with total confidence, knowing that you have the roots to grow in all the ways you need to, and that you are ready for the journey ahead. Friends and family, just a word about the rest of this program, much of which will be in the students' voices, as it should be. Throughout the evening, you will hear a series of reflections from the eighth graders about their memories of the time at this school, interspersed with poetry recited by the class, and reflections on the students by Anna Chain, a class parent, and by me. The evening will close with a reading of their names and presentation of certificates for the head of school saying that they have completed their grade school education at the Lake Champlain Waldorf School. And then a final poem from the eighth grade. And now, we will begin at the beginning with first grade. Hello, my name is Javier. I'm Lucy. My name is Ella. I'm Ariana. I'm Fiona. We are going to talk about first and second grade. First grade was essentially the beginning of our kind and welcoming first grade teacher, Mr. Megan. Although only 8 of us made it all the way to 8th grade, this was when our class was together for the first time. Throughout the year, we learned the letters of the alphabet through storytelling and drawing, and our numbers to the math notes. We were on the rowdier side, and one of the ways our energy showed was that we were the best chanters in the highlight of the year was probably in the winter when the entire playground froze over. Since we were not allowed to walk along the ice in case we fell, we would crawl around playing each other in sleds in a launch sheet, something we called the Polar Bear Express. Our play that year was Violet Blue, our version of the Seven Dwarfs, in Snow White. Our class has always loved acting, and we had lines that we said by ourselves, and I one thing in water. Of course, we could not talk about first grade without talking about the rose. This signified the beginning of the journey. In this note, one of the oldest students in school, the 12th grade, gave each of us new postcards or rose to welcome us into the school. The school year then ends with each 12th grader receiving a rose on first grade. This spring, our youth sniffles. Well, second grade was a remarkable year, largely attributed to the fact that it was the year of 2019 and 20. On March 11th, 2020, we were told there would be no school for the rest of the year because we spent the remainder of the school year watching videos our teachers posted online, doing main lesson pages, fact sheets, paintings, and even movement class from our homes in quarantine. We learned that Ms. Dominguez was leaving us and Ms. Deal Noble was going to be our new teacher. We met her for the first time over Zoom and we loved her.
Before all of this, second grade was here for music, stories, and games. We developed a profound affinity for show and tell. We also loved our frequent trips to the village park. A humongous fish tank was acquired, and its inhabitants became the first of many class events. Second grade was the year when we were boisterous, bubbly, and a little mischievous. But everything would change with the pandemic, and that would set the scene for third grade.
Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein.
There is a place where the sidewalk ends,
And before the street begins,
there the grass grows soft and white.
And there the sun burns crimson bright. There the bird rests on his flight. To cool in a peppermint wind.
Let us leave this place where the stone flows flat,
and the dark street winds and bends,
past the pits where the asphalt flowers grow.
We shall walk with a walk then measured and slow.
and
Watch where the chalk white arrows go.
The place where the sidewalk ends. Yes, we'll walk for the walk that is measured and slow, and go where the chalk white arrows go. For the children they bark, and the children they know, the place where the sidewalk ends.
Such as.
Hello, my name is Anastasia Shen. And I'm Hannah Baker. And I will be sharing third grade. Third grade was the year of freezing fingers and constantly being 6 feet apart. During the cold months of COVID, we were in our outdoor classrooms, and a lot of the time, everyone said, "Mr. Noble, I think I may have frostbite," but it was all worth it in the end because we all got to be in school together. Third grade was my first year here at Waldorf, and I remember how much I looked forward to going to the farm every week. That's when my love for animals and nature really skyrocketed. We also got to learn and see the circle of life. Sometimes we would show up to the farm and get the news of a new baby animal and be joyful. Other times we were wrong and the animal was dying or dead. It was hard, but it was helpful to learn about the realities of life and be helped to say goodbye. Masks, always masks. The only time you could take them off indoors was when we ate. And then you had to be 6 feet apart or more. But fortunately, we were outside lots of the time, and we had a lot of fun in spite of the pandemic and the cold. Since it was third grade, we started on our instruments, cello, violin, or viola. I was so excited to get started on my violin. This posed a new challenge, since the windows had to be open and the instruments don't like the cold, so they were constantly out of tune. We persevered, and even though all our concerts were outside, as well as our play, Queen Esther Stage for People, which we had so much fun performing. Now, of course, I can't talk about third grade without mentioning how our class got the most perfect teacher for us in the world, Miss Dill Noble. We are so grateful for Miss Dill Noble. We love you, and we're grateful for all these years of dedication you have given us. Thank you.
Hello, Dylan Blue,
I'm Robert Stewart. I'm Ellen Reba.
and we are going to be presenting, well, fourth grade.
Fourth grade, we were finally here, we was New Village Farm. Farm was a major part of our class after 4 years of going there together.
You guys will go back so much. Miss Noble planned for two class plates. One, the wreck of the General Butler, which we helped write after we learned about the true story of the dramatic shipwreck in Lake Champlain. The other, 1 year of the laboratory, we performed after we heard about the boat and it was red light. We loved the jokes that we added to the play.
In fourth grade, we did our first research project, choosing an animal, learning all about what it's like and needed, writing it all down. It was a lot of work, we were really proud of it when we were done.
This was also a year packed with field trips. When we went to Shelby Museum many times and studied the Clever Exhibit. We spent a lot of time at the Maritime Museum learning about Revolutionary War, history, and ships, and explored Fort Ticonderoga in New York. In the classroom, we spent a lot of time learning about Norse mythology, the first of many mythologies we studied over the years. We all found the stories we loved best, but many of us will never forget the introduction we had to the gods and goddesses of Asgard.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anna Chang, and I'm Hank's mom, and it's an honor to speak to all of you today, but mostly to you on behalf of your parents. I had a rather unique way of getting to know this class when they were in third grade, in that I was asked to sub in as their French teacher for about a month. Just for a little context, to paint the scene for you, the way that I teach French is pretty lively. There are lots of games and movement and whatever happens in the classroom we talk about, and that becomes their vocabulary. I actually do remember a chunk, 2 words that were on this class's vocabulary list. So this is your 5-year late final exam. Do any of you remember chaussure volante? Chaussure volante. It's okay, you'll graduate anyway. It means flying shoe. So yes, there were many flying shoes that day in the classroom. What I got to see as their teacher for just that short period of time was the spirit of this class. It's always very exciting, very lively. I saw an intense love of learning, but most of all, love of having fun along the way. I know the constellation of the class has changed throughout the years, but that spirit still remains. And I'm so grateful to have had all of you for my child's peer group. 8th graders, your parents chose Waldorf education for you for a reason. When a parent is choosing a school for their child, they think about how best to prepare them for the world that is to come. When you were born in 2011 or 2012, it was impossible to know what our world would be like today. The world is still changing, and it feels as if those changes are accelerating. In terms of academics or technical skill, there's really no way to predict what the world will need in 10 years when you are all developing your careers. Now, the academics here are very strong. Your teachers have taught you well, and you have learned well. And your parents are very proud of you. But I chose this school for our family for a different reason. It's because I know that no matter how much the world changes, Waldorf and this community teach the things the world will always need: creativity, critical thinking, perseverance when things get challenging, the ability to create, notice, and appreciate beauty, the willingness to communicate with and learn from people who are different from you, and most importantly, kindness. My own family moved to Vermont 10 years ago this summer. We left all of our relatives behind. And like many of the families here today, we were tasked with building a village for ourselves from scratch. And we found that here. This community has become much more than a school to us. It has truly become a family. 8th graders, as you look out at the people here today, all the parents, all the teachers, I hope you too see them as family, because all of these people care about you and are here to support you. I see this time right now, the end of 8th grade, as a mini leaving of the nest. Thank goodness the real leaving is still a few years away, but it does mark the end of our beautiful little cocoon with Mrs. Steele Noble. And it marks the beginning of something big, amazing, and unknown. So as you leave today, whether you're staying at Waldorf for 9th grade or moving to a new high school, I hope you know that this community will always be here to support you. And I can speak for all of the parents of the 8th grade graduating class of 2026 when I say we know you are ready for what's next. We love you, and we will always be rooting for you. Congratulations.
I'm Mrs. Nelson. I'm Finn.
Haley.
I'm Griffin.
I'm Cameron.
Fifth grade was the year of the pentathlon, where we had so much fun connecting to kids from other Waldorf schools. We ran, wrestled, did launch, jumped, and threw discus and javelin. We really bonded with the kids from all over in City Six.
For our class trip, we spent 2 nights at Lakeside Waldorf School. We had a great time playing with the kindergartners and doing community service with the school. But what many of us remember most is the invasive tent caterpillars that took over the orchard and fell on our food.
We also spent a lot of time this year at the Brooklyn Museum, an underground railroad site where our class play was written for us by the museum educator Tucker Foltz. Then we performed our play in the historic house on the grounds. We also played a lot of badminton. We all remember our state project, where we all chose a state and carefully researched and wrote about it. Overall, this year fostered our independence greater.
6th grade was the year of migration. It brought weekly trips to Bostwick and class meetings in the library every Friday.
We also did a lot of moving to many different places for our school trips. We first visited New Hampshire to go camping and caving. Then soon after, went to Camp Leonard for our first of many times. At the end of the year, we drove up to High Melbourne for medieval games we had spent years practicing for.
We pulled off our best play yet, Macbeth, with the help of Brad Willis Coolidge, long games of Mafia and hundreds of reasons. For our closing event of the year, we had a technical ceremony where we made shields above the best one. It was a fitting end to a big 6th grade year. The Montana Health Service Award is an honor presented to the person doing body's love to all that education service at school. The 2026 recipient has done so much for the students at Elsa for the best. One of her biggest accomplishments is promotion of science and engineering affairs, specifically getting robotics company out of school. In the early years of robotics plus WS, this would be when we were 5th and 6th grades. It was just a little extracurricular activity to pass the time. Without you, Lana, our team never would have been able to and definitely look this proud. We pulled together a group of energetic kids, so I had no idea we'd have things. And that first year, we did all the work to make sure we didn't fall apart. Yeah,
Over the years, you spent so much time and effort into everything of everything it is, even if we didn't know anything about it. You somehow got us to a point that we came out of the dressing room and joy and moved on something instead of it gross. Throughout it all, you stayed positive, smiles, and laughed and joked with us, even on days that I was coughing uncontrollably during walkbys. Your patience is amazing.
One of your greatest qualities is how prepared you always are. You showed up every practice with an agenda and always knew how to get us to focus and do our best work, usually involving the checklist with oddly specific times. You kept us on schedule at competitions even when we acted crazy, and you brought us good snacks.
Anna, you're always saying that I also mentor Myra from Georgia Tech started this team. You were the person who kept this team going. You're also grateful for the time and energy you put into our work. And what's most important is that robotics, important as it is to us, is just one small part of what you give to this school. You're always there for the rest of our class and for B's class too. You help so much with fundraising, driving to field trips, bringing food, and generally keeping everyone's spirits up and helping the teachers out. You are so generous with your time, attention, and energy, and on behalf of the school, our class, and our team, we want to say thank you as we present to you the My Final Service Week. Okay, so this part isn't on the program, but we felt like we need to add it. You all have heard many great speeches and there's still more to come, but we would like to add one more for the person who made this all possible, which is obviously Ms. Neil Noble. You have supported us for 6 years in numerous ways, many that might go unnoticed or unappreciated in the moment. Although it may not always seem like it, we are so grateful for it all. You have always found a way to adapt to best work with us, whether it was calming down crazy third graders or putting up with seemingly uninterested middle schoolers. You have sacrificed so much for us, and we wouldn't be the people we are now without it and without you.
We spent so much time making sure the class was successful, whether it was extending deadlines or providing support. You always made sure it worked for everyone. You also always made sure we have a variety of trips throughout the year, but we dedicated to trying to make learning as fun as possible.
We're available to us for everything we need, from school supplies to political support. Your behind the scenes efforts so often go unnoticed. Today, you have a whole new class of first graders coming out, and I'm sure they'll look great. But it was wonderful having you as a team. We appreciate who we are as people, academically, intellectually, and socially, and we can hold something similar for you. We love you. And there is the disco ball that we keep in our classroom, which we all sign to give to you. And there is a quilt that a lot of us contributed to making in 7th grade with squares that help capture our class, and we hope to use that with your 1st grade next year. And then here's the sign card. Thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Dom. I'm Aka.
My name is May.
My name's Ethan.
My name is Zora.
And my name is John.
7th grade was a year of much energy and a lot of memories. One that I'll keep forever was in playwriting class when we made a short play for a contest. The winning plays were read and performed by professional actors on stage at a playwriting festival. I remembered when Miss Noble was reading off the list of the plays that were chosen and how big the suspense was and how happy we were for the kids who were chosen. Another memory that we have is the variety show we put on with Brent and Maya McCoy. We learned many new circus arts, got better at ones we already had tried, and had so much fun. My favorite one was the Diablo and all the cool tricks you could do with it.
The last moment we want to share about seventh grade is going to the Maritime Museum for a 3-day camping trip with Mr. Noble and our science teacher, Cammy. We went on a big rowing trip in the gig boats, did stargazing and constellation finding with a knowledgeable amateur astronomer, and enjoyed fishing expedition. We learned how to catch, clean, and cook fish. It was great to eat what we caught.
Eighth grade was the year of attempted maturity. Keyword attempted. Even though those of us standing have only been through a year, we've gotten to experience so many amazing things, both with our class and on our own.
One of our most memorable experiences was going to Camp Glenbrook, New Hampshire. We enjoyed the amazing food of Chef Robin, freezing polar plunge, a quiet nature walk, and adorable farm animals.
As a class, we put on a production of C.S. Lewis's The Lion, the Witch, and Wardrobe. It was a great bonding experience that we worked hard to achieve, and the incredible help from both sides. The 8th grade projects were done to goals. We worked hard on these all year long and survived 3 presentations. Although the projects were vastly different, many involved building groups and all involved us following directions.
Our major trip this year was a week-long expedition to Martha's Vineyard. We worked hard to acquire enough funding to make this trip a reality by handing out pizza on Tuesdays and using our school grounds as extra programming for events at Sheldon Museum. While on the island, we spent time with our teachers and each other, went to 3 beautiful beaches, and learned so many interesting things about the island's history. It was a great adventure that brought us closer to each other. Overall, it was an amazing year that did so much to prepare us for what's to come.
It is my very great pleasure now to offer a short acknowledgement to each of these wonderful students whom I have the honor of teaching. Because I am an English major, I have written haiku for each child and I have a little introduction to it. And then I want to acknowledge the fabulous work of Oliver, Sawyer, sorry, I'm speaking of copies, and apologies, of Oliver Sawyer, who has written in calligraphy each of the haiku as a keepsake, so you will receive that later. I begin with Hannah Baker. Hannah, you are a beautiful and original soul, and you have never pretended to be anything else. You love nature and pets, friends and family almost equally, because truly, you know they are all your kin. Over the years, I have carried a question with great delight, Hannah. How long would you let me keep writing chickens into our class plays? In 3rd grade, of course, we had Dinah, the royal chicken, who everyone knows is the best friend of Queen Esther. And in 4th and 5th grades, your avian friends also here to direct of the General Butler and our late Rugby Museum. In 6th grade, your weird sister in Macbeth was distinctly and terrifyingly bird-like. In 7th grade, the tradition took a brief pause with a variety show. And then in 8th grade, you were not a bird at all, but a spectacular and wonderfully wicked white witch who no one will ever forget. Though I must admit, I caught glimpses of the swan in your version of her. Hannah, no matter where you act and sing and learn, I know you will carry the natural world with you. May the raven always call you home. Hannah, a haiku for you. Chicken or egg? That is the question. The answer, both. new life and old. So we'll just do a little bit on that, over. They'll come up bigger, but right now it's just doing that. Elevator path. Everyone has stories they love in the Waldorf curriculum, but you seem to love literally everything that your teachers presented to you. In fifth grade, when the class studied Greek mythology, students argued about which gods and goddesses were best, and really they were arguing about which archetype they identified with. That was harder for you than most, because your wonderful qualities span so many realms. You are an incredible mathematician. You literally write books. You love to read voraciously. You play sports at a very high level. And your well-roundedness is a great strength. It can also be tiring because you do so many things so well. And while you do them, Ella, you are always looking and helping others. In the last few years, I am so happy that you have achieved what I always hoped for, and that is that you began to occasionally break the rules and not necessarily always do what you were told. And my wish for you is that you can easily move between all the beautiful parts of you, Ella, including the rule-bending ones. For you, Minerva, Juno, wisdom, justice, mirth, and love. You carry them all. Aliana. Ali, I feel so lucky that you rejoined our class and brought your experience at LCWF's full circle and gave me the chance to be your teacher. You move fast, you feel deeply, and you are never afraid of hard things. You threw yourself into your time here, practicing being true to yourself while finding yourself in the group. And I so appreciate your taste in books. When I think of you, Ali, I will always think of you busy creating, crocheting busily loops for your original clothing designs, almost hidden behind the stacks of books that you keep on your desk, no matter how much I protest, or stacks of your own art. My wish for you is that whenever your life feels tangled, you will remember that books and making things help you feel whole. For you. Always in your mind, fabulous floral worlds, blue books and ideas. Lucy Hanna. Lucy, you are so organized that you were setting up better systems than I could make and worth me. I love that you always have ideas for improvement and that you really want to make things better wherever you are. You've noticed what could work and what would be more effective, and then you do something about it. You are a person who can really follow through. It was perfect, Lucy, that you chose Sprint Triathlon for your 8th grade project, a sport that lets you compete against your best opponent, yourself. You have a remarkable drive to set goals, work steadily toward them, and raise the bar again. And at the same time, I know that your love and loyalty for your friends are unparalleled. My wish for you is that you remember that not every worthwhile thing can be measured. For you, run, bike, swim, you push yourself and others. For friends, you pause and you wait. Henry. And because I watched you create a video game this year through your 8th grade project, I saw something really important about how you work. You spent every spare moment, and more than a few that were not spare, working, reflecting, and thinking about that game during school. And I know that you continue to hone hundreds of hours you put into that game. This is you at your best. Focused, creative, persistent, solving problems, and caring not only that something works, but that it works beautifully. You notice details that others miss, and you are willing to spend the time to get them right. All the forgotten water bottles in the world do not compare to the beauty that you create with your mind. My wish for you is that you bring the attention you give your work to smaller moments too. A poem for you. The effortless flow when you sink into your work slows time to a crawl. Dylan. Though I know you don't love acting, you were indispensable to our last play. Not just because you knew exactly what piece of scenery needed to be moved where and when, but also because you understood at such a deep level the themes of that play, and you could see what others could contribute and where they struggled, and you helped them without ever bringing any attention to yourself. Since you came to this school, your big heart and keen wit have been such gifts to this class. You are beloved. You give all these things without seeking a limelight. My wish for you is that you remember you can be as generous as you want without giving away too much of yourself. Dylan, your haiku needs just a word of explanation because it has the Shakespearean reference. Couldn't help myself. It is to the comedy Twelfth Night, where Olivia says, "Take the fool away." She doesn't understand that the fool, Vesta, is the wisest character in the play. The message, the real fool, is the one who cannot see below the surface. Dylan, you are a jester, but you have never been a fool. For you, take the fool away. The fool bows and takes the queen. Truth exits smile. Griffin, you showed up like a firework in this class, bringing such joy and energy and humor to a group that was maybe getting a little too sedate. You brought a love of art that's been with you since you were little, a desire to move that fits so well with this group, and your delight in games and generally having a good time. With all of that, you take your work and your academics seriously, you get things done, and you improve. You once told me when I asked each person what strength they would bring to a Glenbrook trip, that you brought it on and you lightened the mood when things were getting too serious. You were so right. There were then many ups and downs in middle school, and Griffin was a perfect person to come at that time and keep us focused on what is really good about being together. Because for you, life is best lived with others. Thank you for setting an example of being an unquenchable spirit. My wish for you is that you never lose your ability to remind the rest of us not to take ourselves too seriously. For you, a poem. A celebration where everyone says goodbye and stays. That is beauty. Amen. And you only joined us in 7th grade, and I keep forgetting. As I watched you over at Turtle Lane, climb parts of the playground that were never meant to be climbed. and play chess in our classroom and design board games and throw yourself into the robotics team and enthusiastically try every single activity that was offered in the Waldorf curriculum, many of which were very unfamiliar. I could see that your adventurous spirit and insatiable intellect were unstoppable together. You worked hard at school, at sports, at your hobbies, and you model being curious about everything you encounter in the world. My wish for you is that you know that while you can think of all the details, you are not responsible for them all. Your haiku also needs a bit of explanation. For everyone here who is not on the robotics team or their coach, I would like to explain that the board refers to the competition table or playing field where the students build robots that run missions. For you. You know the board like the back of your hand. Always, knowledge leads the way. Oh, yes. Leader, writer, artist, dancer, you have so many ways to express the big ideas and complex emotions that are always burning in you. Ariel, in ancient Greece, ideas and feelings were not considered separate. Instead, they were bound together in one word. Psyche means mind, soul, transformation. She was also a princess who braved the underworld to prove her devotion and was made immortal. Today, her story is often adapted to operas and ballets. Ariel, you are an amazing combination of thought and feeling. It is not always easy to go through the world with such sensitivity and imagination, but those gifts make you see meaning that others miss. My wish for you is that you know. My wish for you, Ariel, is that you feel so much love that carries you, even when you don't know exactly where it comes from. The poem. Not marching, dancing to the beat. Others hear it, but only a few. Madeline, you have always communicated so much through your body. Running, jumping, playing, fixing, solving, making, and doing. And let's not forget your expressions, which speak volumes. But when I read the thousands of words that you wrote about rehabilitating your beloved pony boots for your 8th grade project, I saw not only how much you have grown as a student in these years we've known each other, but also how much the subject matters. You observe the people and animals you love very carefully, and you were always caring for them in the right ways. If you chose, you could write a book about any of them. But instead, you do the thing you are here to do. You put your knowledge into practice and you make things better. Right? My wish for you is that you always trust that your attention is the most powerful gift you could give. Before every fence, a silent conversation, horse and rider leap. In. When I met you at your house all these years ago, you showed me your little boat on your pond, your horses and your farm stand, and I knew right at that moment that you were different, that you lived a life most people do not have today, and that it gave you everything you needed. As I watched you make this school your third home after Lakeside and your farm, I have felt every day the strength of your beginnings. Your will is strong, and I know very well that no one will make you do what you do not want to do. Fortunately, your compass is also strong. Your heart is huge, and your mind is curious. And so you always come to the thing that's right. My wish for you, Finn, is that you continue to follow that moral compass wherever it may lead you. My poem for you references another poem. When we recited Tiger, Tiger by William Blake in fourth grade, you immediately loved it. It captured something of your passion for life, your awe in nature, and the nobility of spirit you bring the world. For you, Finnegan. Burning bright, you stop, no longer playing tiger, but blazing a trail. Zora, from the moment I first saw you, when I met you on a ski day back in seventh grade, and you came to a country dance, it was so clear that you were one of this group, that you were meant to be with this group. And still, to enter eighth grade, it isn't easy. You came from a different life, a different culture, a different identity. Not wearing Janae, how amazing it has been to have you with us on your journey, bringing your wideness of mind, your fierce, loving heart, and your original artistic vision. I love that you are finding your way into the migrant and activist communities here in Vermont, and that your depth of experience will be making the lives of marginalized people better. I don't know exactly where you're going to end up for it. I have some guesses, but I know that there is something in this Vermont chapter of your life that will help and guide you in your behalf. So my wish for you will be you always know the quiet place in yourself that will give you the energy for all the work you are going to do. Home for you. To ask, how are you, of a stranger, and listen. That is real love. Fiona. Fiona, for many students, I searched for a metaphor, an image to express something about them. But Fiona, with a year like you've had in eighth grade, who needs a metaphor? Your eighth grade year is a picture of you through really significant illness and multiple injuries. You persevered and pursued the sport you love at the highest level. You poured yourself completely into every academic assignment. You never missed an opportunity to be in the mix with your friends, and you gave your absolute best to the school which you love and which has been your second home. You experienced deep disappointment in not having the seasons that you hoped for, and I watched you quickly move to philosophical acceptance. You are the person who embraces facts, Fiona, and you move with the flow of what is real. I think it is your superpower. My wish for you is that you lean on others whenever you need them, because they are still there for you. Fiona, a poem for you. No metaphors. Leaping to the hoop or patient in the eon. Bravest one I know. And when you came to us in fourth grade, I knew that you were someone whose trust I would have to earn. It has been such a joy to be on the journey with you, because while formal education is all good and fine, and you are willing to engage with it, you are someone who never stops learning, who never stops the clock of educating yourself. You are always talking and debating, reading, writing, looking at and making art and thinking. You see the world clearly without the blinders that most people choose to wear. It is not always easy, but I would not have it any other way for you. You care so fiercely for those you love. You give your best work and you speak truth in each situation. Your mind is amazing. And my wish for you is that you always remain connected to the deeper wisdom and purpose that guide you. For you, Haley. Delicate balance and the calculus of power to serve truth and love. Asa. Asa, it has been such a joy to watch your intellect blossom over these years. You are not someone to parade your knowledge, so it's been mostly through reading your writing that I know all these things about you, your philosophical turn of mind, your ear for language, and your depth of understanding. I was not surprised to receive a book of polished short stories from you that I enjoyed each day. Then there's your, shall I call it, puckish sense of humor, which has occasionally brought you to the edge of trouble, but never, at least to my knowledge, so far over that line. I think everyone who knows you recognizes the glint in your eye. And with so many gifts, what makes you truly beloved in this class is your easygoing nature, your desire to give others the benefit of the doubt, and your genuine humility, which is not self-deflating, but grounded in a real appreciation of others. My wish for you, Asa, is that you will offer your gifts with confidence, because the world surely needs them. For you. You hold the question, content that others speak first. Your words linger long. Carolyn, our trip to Martha's Vineyard is wonderful in so many ways, but definitely one of my favorites was that I got to see your sense of humor in full. You are so good at living with other people. Just as in school, you are deeply competent at everything you set your hand to. And you get things done in an incredible way, although sometimes with a little good-natured complaint. And in living and playing and cooking and being together 24/7, it was no coincidence, Carolyn, that your bed was the literal center of the girls' social universe, with every person piling on a heap that made me worry for the strength of the bond. You are tuned into deeper dynamics. You love to have fun. You are creative and you are kind and you are incredibly witty. No wonder that you chose cooking as your 8th grade project. It seems right in line with the way you show your deep affection. For your poem, Carolyn, I have to explain the ancient art of alchemy. This was the quest to turn base metals into gold. Some people dismissed it as pointless magic, but it was the basis of modern chemistry. And it continues to be a way of thinking about transformation. You are a master of transformation, and my wish for you is that you may always know it. For you, Karen. Cast iron magic, food, art, good jokes, all the ways lead turns into gold. Anastasia, you were one of the students who came to us in the pandemic because online schooling was not for you. You were a girl who loved to do things with your hands, who wanted to be with people, who loved animals, and you were willing to shiver a little in that winter chill in exchange for a glass of new friends and learning the way that you love. I feel so lucky that you and your family made that bargain, because your warmth, your sense of beauty, your deep responsibility, and your willingness to work hard and care for others have given so much to this class. This year, I watched you find a passion for medicine, which grew stronger as you spent many hours in the hospital supporting family. I know you will continue on your path, which connects your incredible work ethic with your huge heart for the world. My wish for you is that you will always know your own worth because it is truly beyond measure. Anastasia. In the bright white halls of many human dramas, you bring quiet strength. Oh, wait. Some people are lucky enough to find their sense of vocation of calling when they are young. And while I want to leave all the room in the world for changing your mind, it is clear to me that architecture is at least a lifelong love. From popsicle stick houses to Lego towers to endless polymer clay creations, I have watched your hands almost constantly move and create from the moment you entered our class a few years ago. I may have grumbled a little bit about all the clay that is ground into our class carpet, but I know it is a small price to pay for a front row seat to your creativity. As I watch complex ideas take shape in 3 dimensions every day in front of me. And I know that these structures are just one way to express the depth of your thought. That you write and speak and draw and sculpt as eloquently as you will. My wish for you is simply that you continue to bring into this world what you see in your mind, because it is something no one else can imagine. Going for you. Clay towers, physics defying, Escher-like dreams made real on your desk. Ethan, you came into this class so ready to join that I can hardly remember the transition. Your warmth, love of the outdoors, and sense of humor quickly established you in a social fabric of the group. While in class, your passion for history and story were huge strengths. Most of all, your sense of playfulness and connection were a real asset to the group. As we reformed this year in our last social constellation, you helped tie together diverse and strong personalities, and you brought levity to situations that could be intense depending on the day. Your joy and acceptance of others, along with a light-hearted but deep sense of adventure, were all genuinely a balm to this group. I have loved watching you grow as a writer, a researcher, and an academic this year. And my wish for you is that you continue to develop the formal side of your mind. You will never lose the playfulness at the center of yourself. A poem for you. Combing Inkwell Beach, you trace the shore for treasure, drawing others in. Wilder, it is no coincidence that you were twice the lead in our class plays, and both times a king. Whether as an ambitious Scottish soldier or a mythic lion leading a magical land, you brought to those roles something I knew we needed, but is hard to name. It is almost dignity, and it is something like gent, but I think the best word is the Latin one, gravitas, a grounding presence that inspires respect through competence rather than domination. I think everyone who heard your 8th grade project presentation on backcountry skiing recognized that same quality. Because let's face it, few people choose for fun an activity that requires carrying the tools needed to survive an avalanche. But you, Wilder, you do that. And when I hear you speak about it, I understand why. I also know that you approach it with care, responsibility, and skill. My wish for you is that your adventures may carry you far and always carry you back to those who love you. Brandon, for you. Crown tipped to the wind, you pace where the forest ends toward unnamed ridges. Adrian, when I think of you, I will always think of the boy who 4 years ago led me along the shore, showing me the hiding places of your favorite creatures in the lake by your home. Fish, crawdads, turtles. Also, at other times, chickens, ducks, quail, cats. You love all the critters, and they all love you. I have watched that passion for animals and nature develop into keen powers of observation and a gift for natural science. I have seen the incredible spatial sense that you use solving Rubik's cubes in seconds become strength in geometry. And I have seen your stories about adventures in nature grow into strong writing. Most of all, Eden, I have seen you open up, trusting friends and finding your way into a central place in this class. My wish is that you will always make time for the natural world, because it is one of the places where I see you most fully yourself. For you. Waves in murky stream, senses just where the catfish hide. Patient, slow, then grabs. Sean, you are both a born storyteller and a natural truth teller. I love to hear the way you frame a story about something big or small in your life. I have seen you write with such focus when you are in the zone. And I have noted your excitement about history and fiction both as you discover new tales that spark your imagination. Most of all, I appreciate your courage in speaking on your perspective on a situation, even when it might not be popular or shared. Sometimes you are propelled by your care for others, but at other times it's just that you have a passion for justice and you want to see people treated fairly, whether it benefits you or not. Your steady presence, your warmth and gentleness have given so much to this class. My wish for you is that you can continue to develop your gifts to be the leader that I know you are. Sean, the image that came to me for you is very much inspired by Island 10. The harbor guide knows every boat has a story that's worth telling about. And finally, Ming, you told me just yesterday that your arms had gotten weaker since coming to Boulder. We don't have enough climbing equipment in our school. And I think maybe that's true, but that every other part of you might just have gotten stronger. You have always known who you were, and you have never compromised your essence. But your ability to own your space, to speak your truth, to try new things, and to trust new friends. In all of that, I have seen you grow by leaps and bounds. It's hard to believe that you've only been here a year, and harder to believe that you're leaving. But I know me, that you will flourish in your new school, and that wherever you go from now on, you will know that you are a wonderful kid. For you. Waves as tall as you spring to meet them and rise again and again. And now we come to the moment where we formally recognize these students as graduates, as they are each presented with their certificate from the Lake Champlain Waldorf School.
Before giving our graduates their certificates, I just have to say what a privilege and honor it is to be here in a dual role as both parent and head of school. My heart is so full as I look at these 23 young people, some staying, some going, all so connected. To this class of 2030, I just want to say how grateful we are that you are here with us and that you belong to this community now and forever. This is a moment that I think we all will take with us for all of our days. I know I will. It has been remarkable to watch you grow. You were energized. I don't think there ever was a dull moment in that 8th grade classroom. You are welcoming. This class was made whole this year when 4 new students came to the class and it quickly seemed like they had always been here. You are brilliant, you are strong, you are connected. I know I said this morning, but I want to say it again. Please know that you always have a home here. You are always welcome. Please come back and please know that we have your back. We're always rooting for you. So now we're going to present the certificates. Just once. Anna Baker. Ellen Claire Bear Cat. Alana Lou Becker. Lucy Ellen Kavanaugh. Kate Chang. Dylan Litch. Brandon Berman. Ethan Gupta Goodman. Ariana New Greenblatt. David Harris. Sora Sano Justin. Dylan James McDonald. Huey Robert McQueen. Lisa Nelson. Earl Second. Anastasia Shay. Paul Shelton. Ethan Smith. Wilder Spirit. Vivian Speedy. Don Me, praise you. I am so pleased to present Lake Champlain Water Sports eighth grade class of 2026.
Nothing more could say I wonderful. He names her frustrating his goal. Her heart is beautiful. Her needs a vow. Not only so and out. So leaves like sighs to leave. So even safe to grieve. So dawn goes down today. Nothing gold can stay.